In Philadelphia, firefighter Cooper is treating his daughter Riley to a concert for her good grades. Outside, they join a group of teens waiting to see Lady Raven exit her bus. As they wait in line, Cooper spots some police nearby. Inside, he notices officers everywhere. Trying to be a supportive dad, Cooper films Riley dancing with friends and buys her snacks. While chatting, Cooper learns Riley feels left out at school. Walking around, he sees more cops and extra cameras. They finally reach their seats, listen to the opening band, and Cooper spots officers there too. The concert begins, and Cooper covers his ears due to the loud noise. After a few songs, he tells Riley he's going to the restroom. Instead of just using it, he checks a security camera on his phone. Cooper is actually a serial killer monitoring his latest victim, Spencer, hidden in his secret house. After washing his hands, he hallucinates seeing his mother. Outside, more police cars arrive. On his way back, Jody's mom stops Cooper. She explains teens can be odd but promises Riley will soon be included. Cooper returns as Raven talks about losing her father and moving on. She asks fans to light up their phones, creating a glowing scene while she plays piano. Cooper then sees cops removing a man from the crowd. Officers are lined up behind him too. During intermission, Cooper and Riley try to buy a t-shirt, but her size is unavailable. Jamie, the seller, says more shirts are coming and mentions the police presence. Whispering, Jamie reveals the cops believe the butcher, a notorious serial killer, is at the concert. Everyone leaving is being checked, except backstage exits. Cooper awkwardly laughs, knowing he's the butcher. Afterward he drags Riley through the venue while pretending he wants a snack, when actually he's checking the exits and confirming that they're all blocked by cops. Cooper notices a drunk woman standing by the stairs and subtly gives her a push to make her fall. The cops at the entrance run to check on her and Cooper tries to leave, only to discover even more officers outside. With no choice, he goes back to the concert with Riley. Lady Raven announces there's a special guest and the ground opens for a platform to raise with another singer. Cooper stares at the open hatch and tells Riley it would be fun to get in there to see where it takes them, but Riley calls him out on his weird behavior. He has to stay not to be suspicious and he stares at the hatch close with frustration. Then Cooper goes back to the t-shirt stand and finds Jamie on his way to the supply room, so he comes along. He notices Jamie using a keycard to access the room, so when they're inside, he pretends to help him move the boxes to steal it. The topic of the butcher comes up and Jamie admits he's been obsessively following the case. He even has some pictures of the victims chopped up in his phone. All the employees got special training for today and even password to identify them, which is Hamilton. After finally getting the t-shirt, Cooper sneaks in the employees' break room with Jamie's keycard. The cops are there going over the information they have and they agree that if they find the butcher, they must take him away from civilians. Cooper hangs Jamie's card on his jacket to pretend to be an employee and goes through the group to reach the snack table so he can hear them better. Nearby there's a picture of his latest crime scene. When a cop asks for sugar, Cooper quickly finds it to look friendly and cooperative. On his way out, Cooper steals a radio from a police bag. In the corridor, Cooper is blocked by Jody's mom again and she gets angry when he tries to ignore her. Their argument gets the attention of two cops, but they're interrupted when they hear a man scream. The two officers rush to the entrance where other cops are arresting the man. This time Cooper also notices Josephine among them. Back on his seat, Cooper discreetly puts on an earbud and listens to the police radio, learning they've already confirmed that the man they arrested was the wrong guy. He was just a thief that panicked because he thought the cops were there for him. As some officers walk among the seats to arrest another guy, Cooper listens to the descriptions of the men they must look for. One includes a white male in his 30s with an animal tattoo on his right arm, which describes him. Luckily, he finds a bracelet on a girl's bag and puts it on to cover the tattoo. After checking the venue's map on the phone, he tells Riley that he forgot his credit card at the t-shirt stand and leaves again. On the radio, he hears that the FBI is setting up tents around the building and barricades on the main streets. Cooper considers pulling the fire alarm, but he notices there's a security camera watching him. He also hears Josephine guessing that he would try the alarm trick. Instead he sneaks into the burger stand and messes with the fryer. Once he's gone, a worker checks on the fries and finds 2 bottles floating in the hot oil. The bottles suddenly explode and the clients scream in panic, getting the cops' attention. While everyone is distracted, Cooper steals an apron and puts it on as he goes to the roof. There are cops there too, so Cooper tells them he needed some air after the incident in the kitchen. The officers confirm his story on the radio but still ask for the code, so Cooper says Hamilton. Still unsure, the cops also ask for his card. Luckily Cooper finds a wallet in the apron's pocket and a venue card that gets them off his back. Before leaving, he asks about Josephine. The cops explain she's a profiler who caught many serial murderers in the past. When he returns downstairs, Cooper sees the worker with severe burns and the hallucination of his mother standing next to her. Afterward, Cooper finds Riley, who is worried about his behavior. He tells her that he got cornered by Jody's mom, and Riley asks him not to worry about her classmates anymore because she's befriended the girl sitting next to her. When they return to their seats, Riley explains this is the part where Raven picks a girl from the audience to go on the stage and even see the backstage. Seeing that as an opportunity, Cooper approaches one of the crowd handlers and tells him that Riley recently recovered from leukemia, thanks to Lady Raven being her inspiration. The cops are getting closer to Cooper's spot, but luckily his plan works and Riley is chosen to go on stage. They both get backstage passes and the handler talks to a cop to let them pass. Riley is very nervous, but she still goes in when Raven calls for her, and Cooper tries to enjoy his daughter's happiness while ignoring all the cops near him. In the crowd, Jody and her mom are furious to see Riley on the stage. After the song is over, Cooper notices a girl collapsing and picks her up, asking the workers for a place for her to rest. He's taken backstage right before Josephine can see him. Cooper helps the sick girl calm down and even gives her some juice. The manager is really grateful for his help and lets them watch the end of the concert next to the stage. Cooper asks her if they can leave through the backstage door to avoid the crowd at the end, and the manager says yes. Once the concert is over, Cooper hears on the police radio that every male in the venue will be checked on their way out. However, when he tries to leave with Riley, he discovers that the backstage door is also blocked by cops. In a room nearby, Cooper overhears Josephine telling Raven that the cameras will have photos and data of every person that came to the concert. Getting desperate, Cooper approaches Raven and asks her to talk in private about Riley's condition. They enter her dressing room and Cooper admits he's the butcher as he takes out his phone to show her Spencer in the cell. There's a button that allows him to release carbon monoxide into the cell, which would kill Spencer before the cops find him. If Raven cooperates, Cooper promises to let him go. Afterward, Raven tells the cops that Cooper and Riley are leaving with her in the limousine, so they get to escape without getting checked by the police. At the main entrance, the crowd is delayed because of the checks and Josephine worries over the lack of results. During the ride, Cooper tells the driver where he left his car so they can be dropped there. However, Raven asks Riley if she can visit her home. Riley gets excited and calls her mom for permission, so Cooper can only smile as he gives the driver his home address instead. Moments later, they're welcomed by Cooper's wife Rachel and their other kid. As they go inside the house, Cooper reminds Raven that he'll kill Spencer if she tries anything. Over coffee and cake, Rachel asks about the concert and Raven tells her about the police operation to catch the butcher. The FBI found a receipt for a concert ticket in one of the butcher's fake houses, so they contacted Raven to make the plan. Josephine has been profiling the butcher for a while and concluded he's a white man in his 30s or early 40s, has a position of authority, drives a dark car due to a possible OCD, and had a scarring relationship with his mother. Cooper gets uncomfortable because of how accurate every word is and points out it's getting late. However, Raven offers to play a song on the family piano. She makes Riley sit next to her and uses the chance to steal her phone. After the song is over, Raven says they should take a selfie, but Riley can't find her phone, so Raven tells her to use Cooper's as she takes it from his hands. After they take the picture, Raven asks for the bathroom and rushes in there with the phone, locking the door behind her. Cooper starts pounding on the door and his family are weirded out by his behavior. The phone is unlocked and Raven gets to talk to Spencer, asking him for any details he remembers of the area. Spencer mentions things like the door color and a statue nearby, then Raven starts a live stream on her own phone. She tells her followers all the details Spencer mentioned until one person recognizes the place and sends the police. Raven also texts her driver, who is still outside, asking him to call the cops too. When she checks Cooper's phone again, the lock screen has gone up. Next, Raven yells that Cooper is the butcher. She hears weird noises and screaming on the other side of the door, which suddenly opens to show a very nervous Cooper. He takes his phone and checks on Spencer, only to find him gone. Afterward, Cooper takes Raven to the garage, where he grabs his crime bag and pushes Raven into Rachel's car because Josephine had been right about his vehicle's color. Raven tries talking to him using a mother's tone and words, but Cooper doesn't fall for it. He announces he'll kill Raven as his last crime and then self-delete to stop the monster. When Cooper opens the garage, he finds his family blocking the way. He had locked them in Riley's room, but he forgot about the window and the tree next to it. Cooper is in shock because his two lives have finally collided and Raven uses the chance to leave the car. At that moment, the police arrive and take the family to safety while Cooper runs to his closet to move some things. Raven gets in her limo and the usual driver is replaced by a cop so she can be guarded too. The officers burst into the house only to discover a hidden tunnel in the closet that allowed Cooper to escape through the neighbor's yard. Moments later, the limo stops and the cop comes to the back seat to handcuff Raven to a metal bar. It turns out the cop is Cooper, who escaped his house while wearing a police uniform. Then he keeps on driving while announcing he'll take Raven to one of his secret houses to kill her, an urge he's had since he saw her on the stage. When the limo stops at a red light, Raven opens the window and tells people to call the police. A crowd gathers around the car and don't let it advance. While Cooper notices his wife left some clothes in the car, Raven keeps struggling with her handcuffs until manages to rip the bar off. She rushes out of the limo as the police arrive, causing the crowd to step back in panic. The officers open fire and destroy the limo, but when they check inside, they find it empty. Cooper has escaped by putting on a hoodie and mingling in the crowd. Afterward, Raven is taken to one of the crime houses, where she thanks her fan for the help and checks on a rescued Spencer. Meanwhile, Rachel returns to her house after dropping the kids at her sister's. Josephine feels she should hide, but Rachel insists on staying. After sending some officers outside, Josephine leaves. Rachel watches footage of Spencer's kidnapping from the security cameras and makes tea. Suddenly, Cooper sneaks in unnoticed, startling her. Cooper accuses his wife of setting him up, and Rachel admits it. Weeks ago, Rachel suspected Cooper was cheating, but she realized it was something darker when his clothes smelled of hospital cleaner. She also saw him lie convincingly to a neighbor right in front of her, which sent chills down her spine. One day, Rachel followed him to another house, leaving a ticket receipt behind as evidence before anonymously calling the police, hoping they'd prove her wrong. Now, Cooper removes his shirt due to the smell, grabs a knife, and prepares to attack. Rachel distracts him by asking him to eat Riley's pie, meant for their celebration. Cooper agrees after seeing Rachel take a bite. He explains how dead victims usually bring him peace, but Rachel has angered him, so he plans to kill her and then himself. Suddenly, Cooper feels dizzy, realizing Rachel found sedatives in his crime bag and added them to the pie. As he stands, he hears his mother and sees her at the door, calling him a monster. Cooper cries and tries to approach her, but cops surround him and tase him. Furious, Cooper attacks an officer, knocking him out. Before he can reach the second officer, Josephine arrives with another taser, and they subdue him. As Cooper is dragged out, handcuffed, he asks to pick up Riley's fallen bike. At that moment, the kids return, and Riley hugs her dad before he's taken away. In the police truck, Cooper reveals he stole a bike spoke and uses it to unlock his cuffs, laughing. Later, Jamie sees Cooper's face on the news and panics, realizing he helped a criminal. Subscribe and turn on notifications to watch more videos like this. Thanks for watching.